Hello, Ethan. This is Mark Richt of the Georgia. No, somebody's getting to make a wish, so what's going on? What do you want to know?
Tramel Terry at safety.
Oh, yeah.
Come about, and why
Yeah.
did that move?
Well, you know what? He's got a good body type for that, and we thought it'd be good for him, so he's all for it. And so that's what we're doing.
Is it permanent or is it an experiment over bowl?
I wouldn't say anything's ever permanent, but I mean, the plan is to be there.
If he came in as an offensive player, as far as a very dynamic type of guy, can do a lot of things with the ball in his hand, they wasn't concerned about kind of taking that option away from him?
Well, he also played a lot of defense kind of growing up, and he liked that as well. So I think it's just right now we think it's the best for him, and I think he feels good about it.
Is it totally a free safety, or is it a cornerback, or nickel, or any other?
Well, I would never rule out the nickel, but I don't see it as a cornerback move right now.
Safety guy.
Yeah, safety.
Did any of that kind of coincide with Shaq Fluker leaving the team as far as needing to get another body over there?
And it's Shaquille.
Shaquille, yeah.
That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I'll talk about him too if you want, but it had nothing to do with that.
Shaquille Fluker leaving. There's a little bit of debate over how serious his medical situation was, how much his not playing had to do with.
Right, I can't comment on any medical situation, but
Pushing that.
you know, everybody wants to play more, obviously, and I hope wherever he goes, he gets to play. I hope he finds a good home. I like him a lot. He's a good kid. I'm very confident we had his best interest at heart the entire time he was here at Georgia, and we treated him well. There's things that can't be mentioned that are private, but very very confident that we treated him well, and I'm glad he's going to find a new home and hopefully find a good one.
Back on the Tramel Terry front. At receiver, this takes away someone that had been talked about as a dynamic type of guy, but obviously the secondary has struggled this year. How was those two positions and their futures and their depth charts and everything weighted?
Well, I just think that the defensive coaches were kind of keeping an eye on him and kind of coveting him and kind of playfully recruiting him a little bit. You know, sometimes the guys on your scout team, they hammer on the defensive coaches more than the offensive coaches, and when it comes to practice time, and they liked what they saw, and thought it might be a good move for the defense. And so when they seemed serious enough about it, I mean, I asked them if they were really serious about it, and they said they were. So that's when we brought it up and talked to the offensive coaches too, and we're all one team, and we want what's best for our players and what's best for Georgia. That's kind of what it came down to.
And it doesn't preclude him doing stuff on offense in the future like Boykin or Smith?
No, it probably he'd have a lot better head start and that kind of thing than most people. But right now and throughout spring, he'll be. I'm sure all his reps will be on defense until he gets a good feel of that.
You guys toying with any other kind of similar moves in the spring, or you'll worry about that after recruiting?
Not really. Something could happen between now and then, but right now there's nothing cooking, nothing that's done. Like this was done in the middle. We were certain of something. I guess the point I'm making is we would have already done it.
Have you seen enough?
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking more, as to why that could happen. Injuries at a certain position, or just needing help at a certain position might have us think about something like that. But there's been no moves made.
Have you seen enough of Tramel to know that whether he could be a factor in the returns game?
Well, I know he did in high school, and obviously it's how he got hurt in the bowl game. But that job of returning kicks and punts. It is still, I think it's gonna be very wide open in the spring, so he'd be a good candidate for that. I would see him more as a kick return man than a punt return man, but I'm not saying he could do it.
I guess you look at it, and if you think about projecting what he might do in the future, he's not any taller than I am, so, you know, saying you're not gonna be a prototypical NFL receiver, that's not so much the case at safety. I mean, he looks more the type for that.
Yeah, that's, I think, you know, Coach Grantham's background in the NFL and just how he sees prospects and things of that nature. You know, he really sees him as a great-looking safety prospect, and it was something that the defensive staff was all for, and actually kind of started it off, you know, started the whole conversation.
So was it Tramel's idea? Did he come to them about it, or?
No, you know, they were just kind of playfully saying, hey, what do you think about safety, you know? I mean, that happens all the time, you know, there's coaches that always, especially, again, you got your defensive staff with some kids that are scout teamers for whatever reason. Tramel obviously had a slow start because of injury, so he's there a lot, and you might have, you know, over the years, you might have a guy who's on the scout team, on the defensive scout team, working for the offense, and you might have a guy like Coach Ball saying to a DB, hey, I think you might want to play receiver, you know. So it was kind of a playful thing to begin with, but it got more serious as the year went on, and then we asked him if he would consider something like that, and he was all for it, like I said.
Who's the best player you ever stole off the defense?
Brian McClendon.
Yeah?
Well, you know, Brian, when I first got here, early on, you know, we signed him as a DB, and then we took him to play offense. We needed him, and you know, Mikey Henderson played DB, obviously, and he made some big plays offensively. Kind of took him there. I'm trying to think of other guys that. Well, Malcolm Mitchell was being recruited as a defensive back, and it was late in the recruiting process that he asked if he could play receiver. That was when A.J. declared he's going, and Malcolm wanted to play offense, so we made that move. You know, I don't know, the defense was that thrilled about giving up Malcolm, but that's what he wanted. And when you watch this highlight tape as a wide receiver, you know, it's hard to deny that he could be a really good receiver. That's all I can think of now.
You like this time of year where there's not any classes, it's just football?
Yeah.
You're not having to recruit right now?
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing that's different. Before, the bowl practice seemed to be trying to work around exams, trying to work around the gala, trying to prepare a plan, study the game plan, prepare a game plan, and then practice, and then recruit at night. Coaches leaving in the middle of practice to get so-and-so's place, and I mean, it's just crazy. And for whatever reason, this year the calendar just worked out where there's no exams, the gala is over, there's no recruiting, it's a dead period. It's nice, and we're able to have our practices in the middle of the day when it's the warmest. And of course, we've had tremendous weather this year, and coaches have plenty of time to get their jobs done without having to scramble and run around the countryside recruit. So it worked out good.
Mark, have you ever, as a coordinator, play caller, experienced or seen a year as difficult as what you kind of had to do on the fly this year? Have you ever had a situation where you had so many injuries in game where you go in with a certain plan and then all of a sudden Malcolm Mitchell's not there anymore? You know, have you ever been around a team?
There's a lot of that, and I can't remember another season like that. I think Mike did a great job, and the staff. You know, obviously the whole offensive staff works well together. But yeah, I mean, not only. I didn't think about it so much on the fly in the middle of a game as much as, you know, even week by week, you're just like, well, he's not here anymore. And, you know, who on the scout team could possibly know enough to help us and all that kind of thing. And then for Murray to adjust as well, because he is such a precision guy. And he is a guy who loves reps. He loves reps, man. He wants reps with the guys he's going to throw to in the game. Excuse me, even while we're in throwing routes versus air, he makes sure he's with the guys that are gonna be in the game, you know, I mean, that's how important it is to him to throw to those. Instead of just rotating and get whoever you get, he makes sure he's getting the guys that he thinks are gonna be in the game. So, when those guys, were gone, and all of a sudden he's got brand-new guys, to work with, you know, it was not easy, and we did struggle a little bit, you know, right when the majority of that was happening, but I thought we recovered well and kept putting points on the board.